Good Tuesday afternoon, and thank you for joining us for another Coping with COVID. Information on the pandemic and updates to help you thrive and survive through COVID-19. My name is Tre Tailor, and of course, one of the big things that we've been hearing about is small and minority businesses, all businesses, as a matter of fact, that have been affected by the pandemic because they're unable to open. Well, Richland County has just gotten some major news, some great money that they are awarding businesses in the county. And Chakisse Newton is joining us today from Richland County Council to tell us all about it. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for getting the word out. We want everyone who is eligible to apply for these grants to receive them and apply. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So let's talk about eligibility. Who is eligible, Chakisse, to apply for these grants? And it's 1 billion with a B.
I wish it was.
It's 1 million. That's still a lot.
Yeah, these are funds that we get, some of them from the public. So if we took $1 billion, I think we would hear about that. So There are 2 grants. It's $1 million total. So first, let me just talk about one part. One is $500,000 that we are awarding to nonprofits who will help with critical needs. So that's part of it. But then to what you just mentioned for small businesses, that is another $500,000 for small businesses. And we were particularly interested in trying to see how can we fill the gaps. You've got federal aid here, you had the city of Columbia that did a grant. Where are the people who are maybe left out or in the middle, and how can we help them? And so that $500,000 is targeted for small businesses.
Well, let's talk about that, but then I want to piggyback and come back and talk about that first $500,000 for nonprofits, because that's a big thing too, Chakisse, because a lot of times nonprofits are left out of the equation. We talked to Melissa Lindler with the City of Columbia last week about that money that you mentioned. So the small and minority businesses definitely need the help. Like I said, all businesses do. So what do people have to do to qualify? First of all, who is this money, this $500,000 for specifically?
So the $500,000 is for small businesses with less than 50 employees.
Okay,
so
50.
We're trying to 50. So again, we're trying to target those people who have been left where they maybe weren't eligible for some of those other funds. So we're looking for small businesses with less than 50 employees who are in Richland County. If you live in North Carolina, that's wonderful. They will have to help you, but you have to be in Richland County. And so we are targeting those businesses. And so what we're looking for particularly is these are competitive grants. And so as you may have heard, when you looked at the City of Columbia, $500,000 isn't necessarily going to cover everybody. So we tried to prioritize who are those people who are particularly hard hit. If you are a retailer, for example, last night I talked to a person who owns a hat store, and she said to me, Chakisse, this is my Christmas. I missed Easter. I'm about to miss Mother's Day. So even when she comes back, some of her prime business time and retail time is gone. And even though she didn't close until March 28th, no one was really coming in the month of March. So I talked to her yesterday, and so she is exactly one of those businesses. We have talked a lot about hairstylists and barbers, and you know, I don't know how you define essential, but I'm going to need to wrap my hair like you. It's urgent.
Girl, it is. It is
over here. And so when you think about those places where they're shut down, they're close contact, still our food providers and our restaurants in the area, if you think about it, yes, they can do takeout, but they don't have the same volume of business that they had before. And if you dramatically decrease their customers, then they're going to feel that. So what we are encouraging people to do is apply. If you are a small business in Richland County with less than 50 employees, please apply. Even if you look at some of the 4 instances, we won't be able to list all of the different types of businesses that can apply. But, you know, sometimes my mother used to say you have not because you ask not. So we would rather have you ask.
Absolutely. Want to say hi to Christy Savage, who says, thanks for sharing. Thank you, Christy, for watching. And please continue to share out this post. Want to say hi to Betty Parker, who says hello to both of us, Trey and Chakisse.
Hey,
Thank you,
Betty.
ladies, again, just so much for watching. And please share this out because, Chakisse, people need these loans because, of course, we've been hearing a lot about some of these federal loans that were for small businesses who have been going to major corporations. And people are really upset and discouraged about this. So I love that you're saying this is specifically for small businesses less than 50 employees.
And Trey, if I could interrupt for 1 second, because
Sure.
you just used a word that I want to change. And the word that you used was loan.
Okay.
And these are grants.
Oh, so these are forgivable. This is just grants. Free money.
This is we all paid for. We're all putting in our time with COVID together. But yes, these are grants. These are not loans.
That's even better, girl. That's even better because once people finally get back to work, they're going to be behind the 8 ball. So it's going to be even more challenging to make ends meet. So if a loan, while it's nice, but it's really just a temporary fix because you got to pay a loan back, you know. Exactly. So I love that. Exactly. So these are grants, forgivable loans, so to speak.
Yes, these are grants. This is we recognize that we are all struggling, and what can we do to help you to support your business that supports your family, that supports our communities. There are a lot of businesses that may not make it after the end of COVID. So what can we do to help support that and make it better?
Right. So what is going to be the average size of the grant? Chakisse, do you know that?
I do not know the average size of the grant, but I'm looking down here at my notes. A business can request up to $10,000. Again, we only have $500,000 that are available for these grants, but you'll be able to go in as a business and you'll be able to say, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I need, and make your request.
Okay. Betty Parker wants to know, can people still apply for the grant if they've already been approved for the PPP?
Hey, Betty. So here's what I would say. We are trying to reach people who have not been helped before. Okay. That said, I would encourage you to apply. And sorry, my computer's getting dim. And again, we presume that a lot of people are going to apply for these grants, but have you ever been outside the elevator and everybody's waiting for it and nobody's pressed the button? And so
Great analogy.
If it were me, I would rather go ahead and apply. And we'll ask you if you have other resources.
All right. Thank you, Betty, for your question. So what do people need to do to apply, Chakisse, and is there a deadline?
Yes. So this application process is online. And so you have to be able to access a computer. So if you will go to the Richland County website, which is www.richlandcountysc.gov, there on the homepage, if you scroll down a little, there's a link for the COVID relief grants. And so you will click on that and you'll have to create an Zoom Grants account. Zoom Grants is the software platform that we're using, which I also think is the same software platform that the City of Columbia was using. So you will click on that link and then you will begin your application process. Now, that application process is the same form, whether you are a business or a nonprofit. Okay. So don't let that deter you. If you see some language that's related to nonprofits, it's the same application for everybody. So you'll go online, you'll apply, and you'll submit your application. And as of noon yesterday, we had received around 70 applications. Wow. So I know that people were out there.
Awesome. Oh, we got it. Okay. Yeah. So richlandcountysc.gov. Go there. You'll see the link or the information at the bottom of the page. What other types of information, I guess, do people need to apply for these grants?
So again, to talk about the business grants, they're going to ask you the name of your business. They're going to ask who the CEO is. They're going to ask you information about the number of employees that you have, the amount of funds that you're requesting. This is an eligibility point, are you actually a registered business in Richland County? So you do have to be an official business. So they may ask for some paperwork like that.
A
And then
business license or something like that.
Mhm. And then for different businesses, it may look a little different. So say, for example, I am a small business owner that I've got payroll expenses, or that I can show you this is what I pay for payroll. That's one thing, you'll share that. There's some things that might not be applicable for everyone, and you note that. But if you are, say you own a hair salon, and then you've got different stylists who are renting their booth and
Booth
paying
renting.
you, you're not paying salary. So some of those things might be non-applicable. So you'll have to provide the information that you can, but you do have to be an official registered business in Richland County. You will have to show that, and you'll need to provide information like that, as well as certify that you're eligible for the funds. You live in Richland County.
When is the deadline to apply?
So the deadline to apply is June 30th, but
Okay, they've got some
that
time.
is, well, I wouldn't look at it that way, but I'm concerned.
Yeah.
If I had a chance, if somebody was standing out saying, "Hey, we're giving you money,"
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
I wouldn't
apply.
wait till June 29th.
No, and let me tell you one of the reasons why. Some groups do a deadline, and then after everybody applies, they award money. That is not what we're doing at Richland County.
Okay, good to
We are
know.
doing rolling reviews, because what we want is, if you need the money, we want you to get the money as soon as possible.
That's
So
good.
why make you wait until June 30th if you
Right.
need it now? And
That's
so
good.
as we get applications, we're going to be reviewing them. We're going to be approving them. And so because we're doing it that way, the funds can deplete faster. So if you apply on June 30th, but everybody else applied May 30th, then there might not be the funds left.
Yeah. So, Chakisse, I love that you're doing that. So you said you're approving on a rolling scale. So are you thinking that do you have like a schedule? Will you do 10 a week, 20 a month? Or is it going to be based on people that have been approved? If you approve 5 this week, you'll give those 5. If you approve 10 next week, you'll do it like that.
My understanding, and again, you got to give yourself some leeway. So
Yeah.
my understanding is that we're going to be looking for 2 weeks for this first period. So we're
Okay.
not saying, we're not limiting the number. We're trying to say, are you eligible? Are you eligible for this money, and can we give it to you? So if 10 people who apply that meet the criteria that we want to fund, we're not going to make them wait because we said we were going to do X number. It's more looking at, between this time and this time, how many people applied, and then who do we approve from that funding?
Gotcha. We're talking to Chakisse Newton with the Richland County Council in Columbia, South Carolina, and she's talking about the $500,000,
Yes.
the $1 million that they have approved for nonprofits and small businesses. And go to richlandcountysc.gov for more information on those small business loans. I love that you're doing it for businesses with under 50 employees, because those are those businesses that need it the most. Now, you said half of that $1 million is for
Yes.
nonprofits, which is
Yes.
another great demographic of people who I think are being missed out on.
Right. And so with our nonprofits, what we're recognizing is, again, our goals are to help people. And so one of the ways that we help people are through businesses, because they write our paychecks, they serve our food, they take care of our communities, they fulfill that role. But also, in a time like this, there's some critical needs that people have. Here's one: rent assistance. Rent assistance and housing assistance is always tough. It was
Yeah.
tough. It was tough in January before COVID.
Yeah.
It was tough the January before that. It's just hard, right? Food assistance, those kinds of critical needs that nonprofits fill. And so what we are doing with that other $500,000 is for nonprofits that are serving directly the community, serving the people with those critical needs. We are allowing them the opportunity to apply. We will then make a grant to them, and then they can continue to serve their communities. And a small portion of those awards can be used for operational expenses. What does that mean? If you're a nonprofit that maybe you now need a social worker that you didn't have, right? That wasn't in your budget, but you need that because people, in addition to the rent assistance, they need more help and more guidance. You might be able to pay for part of that through the grant. And so that's the idea. How can we reach those people who are closest to the community and give them funds?
Yeah. All right. And so those nonprofits will go to the same website on the Richland County SC.gov website. Go to the bottom and they'll see the information about the COVID-19 funds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the same, as I mentioned before, it's the same. It's one application, whether you are a business or whether you're a nonprofit, you might just have to give different information. So, for example, if you're a nonprofit, if you're a 501c3 versus if you're a registered business with Richland County. So there'll be different information that you would have to provide.
Well, Chakisse, I know you've got to run to a 1 o'clock council meeting, but I want to ask, is there anything else people need to know about these grants? And again, I'm glad that you did specify and really, make known that these are grants. This is not
Correct.
a loan that they have to pay back.
Correct. Well, number one, I would say please apply. Please apply. And we are doing our best to help the community. So I would say please apply. Please spread the word with other businesses
Yes.
that you know in Richland County, with other nonprofits that you know in Richland County who are serving Richland County. There is an email address. I'm looking to see if it's on my notes. I can send it to you.
Okay.
I think it's on the website there. So if you are applying and you have questions about the process, there is an email address that you can send those questions to. But we are, trying to do our part here to help. We hope that there will be more funding available at a future point, but for right now, we have this $1 million.
That's right. That's good. $1 million, $500,000 for small businesses with under 50 employees, $500,000 for nonprofits. Go to richlandcountysc.gov to apply and make sure that you at least get in the pot. As Chakisse said, the deadline's not till June 30th, but they're not going to wait until June 30th to start awarding these funds. So go ahead and get your application in now so that you can get approved and get the money now. Betty wants to know, if you're providing $500,000 to small businesses and the max you'll give is $10,000, then assuming everyone asks for the max, does that mean it's already too late to apply? You said you had 70 applications already. I'll say 70 may not be approved though, Betty. What do you say, Chakisse?
I say I'm not on that committee who is approving, but they might all not be approved. And there's nothing that I've seen that says we're going to give everybody the max, because obviously you start to do your math and that really limits it. And so one of the things, Trey, you asked a question about one of the questions we're going to ask. So one of the questions that will be asked is, do you plan on keeping your business open? Do you plan on keeping it open? Because this isn't it's not a fire sale, so to speak, where we're trying to ease your exit. What we really want are businesses that plan to continue. And so I don't have any reason to believe that everyone will get the max or that they won't get the max, but we do. Lost my computer here. I don't know if you can still hear me. But,
yes, we can.
So I would encourage people to apply. Again, these are funds that are available for the community. And so I have no idea how well the people that applied previously adhere to the guidelines, if they were registered in Richland County. So my mother always told me to ask.
I
so
know you have
rather,
not because you asked not. That's right. Absolutely.
That's what my mother said. So I would say apply. The worst we can tell you is no, and maybe you lost 30 minutes, but as opposed to applying and being able to get those extra funds that are going to help you.
Right. richlandcountysc.gov. If you are a nonprofit or a small business with under 50 employees, please go to that website and apply. Betty Parker says, thank you, Chakisse Newton. Thank you, Betty Parker. So listen, Chakisse, I typically leave the show, and I forgot to tell you this, with an excerpt from Jesus Calling. So I know you've got to run. So if you don't mind me reading this before we get your contact information, it's always so apropos. Jesus is talking. It says, as you look into the day that stretches out before you, you see so many choice points along the way. The myriad of possibilities these choices present can confuse you. Draw your mind back to the threshold of this day where I stand beside you, lovingly preparing you for what is already ahead. You must make your choices one at a time so that each is contingent upon the decision that precedes it. Instead of trying to create a mental map of your path throughout the day, focus on my loving presence with you. I will equip you as you go so that you can handle whatever comes your way. Trust me to supply what you need when you needed. This is Jesus Calling for today, April 28th. If you want more information about Jesus Calling, and they're not a sponsor, they're not paying, it's just something I love, Jesus Calling, you could go to the HarperCollins website and pick yourself up a Jesus Calling, or I usually go to Thrift Books because I get all of my books there because they're very thrifty. Chakisse, if people want more information about you, how can they contact you?
If they want more information about me, they can visit my Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/vote Chakisse, VOTECHAKISSE, or you can just look for Chakisse Newton. I tell people, if you look on the Richland County Council page, I'm the person with the funniest name there. So just click on that. But my phone number and all my contact information is on the Richland County Council page. That's also on the Richland County website.
Well, Chakisse, I'm so pleased. Congratulations to you. I remember when you were running, and you just had such a genuine heart. So glad that you made it. Glad you're on there, and you've been doing some amazing things. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another Coping with COVID. We're going to talk to Sam Davis with Columbia City Council. They are doing, I told you this yesterday, some testing, the 29203 area. MUSC is going to do free COVID testing Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week from noon until 3 o'clock. You'll get your results back in 24 hours. We're going to talk to Sam Davis today or tomorrow. It depends on his schedule to tell us all about that testing. But keep your ears and eyes open. Don't forget to like my personal and professional Facebook page, Tre Tailor and Tailor Made Productions, so you can keep up to date on more Coping with COVID. Later on, we're also tomorrow going to talk with best-selling author and spiritual leader Marianne Williamson. Later on this week, we'll talk to State Representative Gilda Cobb Hunter and also Representative Terry Alexander from Florence. All of that and so much more on Coping with COVID. Until the next time, on behalf of Chakisse Newton, thank you again so much, beautiful. I wish you peace and abundant blessings. You guys stay safe out there and well.
Thank you. Bye.